Cosmic arrival. The night sky above New York shimmered with an unnatural glow, as if the stars themselves were rearranging in anticipation. Thor, god of thunder, hovered above the skyline, Mjolnir in hand, sensing a disturbance unlike any he had felt before. It wasn't Asgardian or Midgardian. It was something alien, mysterious, and dangerous. From the depths of the cosmos, a small vessel hurtled toward Earth, leaving a streak of brilliant blue light across the atmosphere. Inside was Lyra, a young alien girl from the planet Erinder, her body glowing faintly with unstable cosmic energy. Her ship had been damaged during a battle with Zerak, the Void Reaver, a warlord whose forces drained planets of life energy to fuel his insatiable conquest. Lyra's only hope of survival was reaching Earth, the planet brimming with raw vitality. Thor's eyes narrowed as he intercepted the vessel, guiding it to a safe landing on the outskirts of Central Park. The impact shook the ground, sending pigeons scattering and startling the few late-night pedestrians. He lifted the hatch and found Lyra struggling to control the energy radiating from her hands, sparks dancing like miniature lightning bolts. "Fear not, young one," Thor said, his voice steady and commanding. "I am Thor, protector of Midgard. You are safe here, for now." Lyra's violet eyes widened, taking in the Asgardian god towering before her. I am Lyra," she whispered, her voice trembling. Zerak, he's coming. He drains everything, life. I tried to stop him, but—" Her words faltered as a pulse of cosmic energy surged, shaking the nearby trees. Thor extended Mjolnir, using it to stabilize her energy. "Calm yourself. We will face him together. Tell me everything you know about this Zerak." Through gasps and hesitation, Lyra explained that Zerak, the Void Reaver, was an interstellar warlord whose life-draining technology allowed him to conquer worlds by siphoning energy from their inhabitants. Erinder, her home, had fallen in hours, and her people were enslaved or worse. She had escaped with a small vessel but could not outrun Zerak's pursuit for long. Thor's grip on Mjolnir tightened. "Then Earth must not fall as your world did. This Void Reaver will learn that Midgard's defenders do not yield easily." As they spoke, shadows flickered across the park. Thor's senses detected distant movement. Zerak scouts were already on Earth, disguised as shadows shifting unnaturally along the streets. These alien minions were the advance wave, sent to weaken the planet's defenses before Zerak himself arrived. Lyra struggled to remain calm, but her fear was palpable. Thor placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Your power is a gift, Lyra, not a curse. Together, we will learn to control it and use it to defend this world. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is standing tall despite it." The first wave of alien scouts emerged, phasing out of shadows and revealing grotesque, energy-draining forms. Thor hurled Mjolnir, the weapon spinning with blinding speed, striking multiple scouts at once. Lyra's energy flared instinctively, forming protective barriers around fleeing civilians and amplifying Thor's lightning strikes. The synergy between Thor and Lyra was immediate but raw. They fought with instinct and courage, repelling the first attack but realizing the full scale of the threat. Zerak himself would arrive soon, and his forces were vast. Manhattan, one of the most densely populated cities on Earth, was the ideal staging ground for Zerak's invasion. After the battle, Thor and Lyra stood amidst the remnants of overturned cars and shattered streetlights. "This is only the beginning," Thor said, his eyes scanning the horizon. "Zerak will not stop. But neither will we." Lyra, breathing heavily, looked up at him, a mixture of fear and determination in her gaze. I will fight," she said. "I don't want anyone else to lose their world like mine." Thor nodded, seeing both her potential and the human and alien spirit that would be crucial in the days ahead. "Then we prepare, Lyra. The storm is coming, and we will meet it together. Midgard shall not fall, and love and courage will guide our hearts." The night had brought an unexpected ally and an ominous warning. Above the city, stars shimmered, as if acknowledging the arrival of a hero from another world and the challenge that awaited Thor and his newfound companion. Earth was about to face an alien threat unlike any before, but hope, courage, and the bond between god and alien girl could tip the scales. Shadows over Midgard. The dawn over Manhattan was restless. Smoke still lingered in the sky from the skirmish at Central Park, and the city buzzed with confusion. News helicopters hovered above the ruins, capturing footage of glowing scorch marks that no earthly weapon could have left. Whispers of aliens were already spreading across every channel, fueling panic. Thor stood atop a skyscraper, cape fluttering in the wind, Mjolnir glowing faintly in his grasp. Beside him, Lyra's violet eyes scanned the horizon nervously. Her cosmic aura pulsed erratically, a reminder of both her power and her lack of control. "They will come again," Thor said grimly, watching the streets below where Midgardians rushed about in chaos. "Scouts do not arrive without the master. Zerak will not tarry long." Lyra shuddered. "When he comes, Earth will suffer." On Erinder, he drained oceans dry in minutes. Cities turned to husks. "My people fought, but," she faltered, tears shimmering in her eyes, "no one was strong enough to resist him." Thor turned, his voice firm but kind. "Then hear me, Lyra. Midgard is not your home, yet it is mine to guard. Here you are not alone. Courage does not mean one does not tremble. It means one still stands when the storm arrives. And stand we shall." Before she could answer, the skies erupted. A fleet of dark, jagged ships pierced the clouds, blotting out the sun. From their hulls poured shadowy creatures, Zerak soldiers, phasing in and out of reality like living voids. Their shrieks echoed across Manhattan as they descended on streets and rooftops. Alarms wailed. Civilians screamed. Panic gripped the city. Thor raised Mjolnir, summoning thunder that rolled across the sky. "Stay close, Lyra." He hurled the hammer, lightning tearing through the first wave of invaders. Explosions rippled as alien bodies fell, their shadow forms unraveling into smoke. Lyra extended her trembling hands, cosmic energy surging from her fingertips. At first, it was wild, uncontrolled. Blasts erupted too wide, scattering debris and cracking pavement. Thor caught her hand mid-cast, guiding her aim. Together, their combined strike shredded an entire cluster of enemies, turning the air into a storm of light and thunder. Yet the shadows multiplied. From every darkened corner of Manhattan, more of Zerak's minions emerged, draining energy from streetlights, cars, and even the electricity of nearby buildings. As the power grids flickered and died, the city dimmed, feeding the alien army's strength. Lyra gasped. "He's using Earth the same way he used my world. He's feeding them with your planet's life." Thor's eyes hardened. "Then we sever the link. Quickly, where is his tether?" She closed her eyes, sensing the cosmic currents. "The flagship, above the Hudson River. It's channeling the drain across the city. If we don't stop it soon," she opened her eyes, voice breaking, "Earth will fall before he even lands." Thor grinned, fierce and unyielding. "Then we strike at the heart." With a mighty leap, Thor carried Lyra as Mjolnir propelled them skyward. They soared between skyscrapers as alien soldiers gave chase, tendrils of shadow whipping at their heels. Lyra conjured glowing shields to deflect the strikes, each impact sending ripples of violet light across the sky. When they reached the Hudson, the sight froze even Thor. Zerak's flagship hovered above the river, an obsidian behemoth pulsing with violet energy veins. Its underbelly glowed with siphoning beams that stretched across Manhattan, leaching life and power into its core. Around it, swarms of smaller ships patrolled like vultures circling carrion. Lyra clutched Thor's arm, her aura flickering. That is his nest. If we fail, then Midgard burns. And I do not fail." Thor's eyes sparked with lightning. The first patrol ships swooped toward them. Thor hurled Mjolnir, shattering one into fragments, while Lyra blasted another with raw cosmic force. Their teamwork carved a path through the enemy, though each strike left Lyra trembling. Her energy was powerful but unstable, draining her stamina. "Hold fast, Lyra," Thor shouted, pulling her close as they ascended toward the flagship. "Your strength is great, but it is your will that makes you mighty. Do not falter." As they neared the massive vessel, a ripple of darkness swept outward. From the flagship's hull, a towering silhouette emerged, Zerak's projection. His form was clad in obsidian armor, his eyes glowing like void stars. His voice thundered across the skies. "Thor of Asgard, you meddle in a conquest beyond your comprehension. Midgard will feed my hunger, as Irinder did. Your defiance is futile." Thor's jaw clenched, his grip on Mjolnir unbreakable. "I have heard the boasts of tyrants before, Reaver, and each fell beneath the storm. You shall fare no better." The projection laughed, shaking the skies. "Then face the shadows and be consumed." At his command, the flagship unleashed a wave of shadow beasts larger than any Thor had yet faced. They swarmed like a tidal wave, blotting out the very stars. Thor and Lyra exchanged a look, fear and resolve intermingled. Together, they dove into the maelstrom, lightning and cosmic fire tearing across the sky. Below them, the people of Manhattan watched from rooftops and windows, their hope resting in the courage of a god and an alien girl who dared to stand against the void. The battle for Midgard had begun in earnest. The bond of power. The sky above Manhattan was a storm of chaos. Lightning streaked across the heavens as Thor and Lyra carved a blazing path through Zerak's endless shadow army. Yet for every enemy they struck down, more surged forward, fueled by the flagship's siphoning beams. Thor smashed through a hulking shadow beast with Mjolnir, but even he felt the strain. The Reaver's army was vast, and his thunder alone would not be enough to turn the tide. Glancing at Lyra, he saw her trembling, sweat streaking her face as her unstable energy flared dangerously. "You are faltering," Thor shouted over the roar of battle, his voice steady despite the turmoil. "Do not let fear consume you. Harness it. Bend it to your will." Lyra's violet aura flickered violently. I can't hold it. If I unleash too much, I'll destroy everything around me." Thor's hand clasped hers mid-flight, lightning coursing from his palm into her aura. "Then you will not face it alone." His voice was firm, yet compassionate. "Together, we will master it." The moment their powers touched, a surge erupted. Lightning and cosmic fire intertwined, forming a radiant storm that obliterated the nearest cluster of enemies. For a heartbeat, the swarm recoiled, their void-like forms unraveling under the raw force of the combined blast. Lyra gasped, eyes wide. We synced." Thor grinned fiercely. Your gift amplifies mine, and mine tempers yours. Together, we are more than we are alone." They pushed forward, weaving their attacks into one, Thor's lightning strikes now infused with violet fire, Lyra's cosmic blasts stabilized by Mjolnir's grounding force. Their combined might lit up the skies like a second dawn, dazzling and terrifying the invaders alike. But Zerak was watching. From the flagship's throne chamber, the warlord's void eyes narrowed as he observed the fight. His massive form, encased in jagged obsidian armor, radiated hunger and fury. "So, the god finds strength in the girl," he muttered. "Then she shall be the chain that binds him." With a gesture, Zerak intensified the siphoning beams, their glow spreading wider across Manhattan. The city dimmed as more power was stolen. The skyline, once vibrant, now looked like a corpse in twilight. Lyra winced, clutching her chest. "He's pulling harder. He's trying to destabilize me." Thor's gaze sharpened. "Then we end this. We strike the beast at its heart." They soared higher, heading straight for the flagship's core. As they neared the obsidian hull, they were met by Zerak's elite guard, towering shadow warriors clad in jagged armor, wielding weapons that seemed forged from darkness itself. Thor bellowed, his voice carrying across the battlefield. "Come then, creatures of night. Let us see how well you fare against thunder and starfire." The clash was brutal. Thor swung Mjolnir with ferocious arcs, each strike detonating with lightning, while Lyra unleashed concentrated bursts of cosmic energy, piercing through armored foes. The synergy between them grew sharper, their movements instinctively aligned. Where Thor struck, Lyra followed. Where Lyra faltered, Thor shielded. Still, the guard was relentless. One warrior's blade slashed across Thor's side, forcing a grunt of pain. Another nearly pierced Lyra's chest before Thor intercepted, Mjolnir shattering the weapon into fragments. "Stay with me," he roared. "I'm trying." Lyra cried, summoning a shield that deflected 3 simultaneous strikes. "But my power, if I let it go." Thor locked eyes with her in the chaos, his voice steady despite the storm. "Then trust me to hold the storm with you. Together, we are stronger than fear." Lyra inhaled sharply, then released the restraint she'd held onto. Her aura erupted in a blazing cascade of violet fire, no longer wild, but harmonized with Thor's lightning. The two forces swirled together, coalescing into a massive storm front that engulfed the flagship's deck. Shadow warriors dissolved instantly under the devastating surge. For the first time, Zerak's forces faltered. The siphoning beams flickered, destabilized by the resonance of Lyra's unleashed energy tempered through Thor's thunder. The warlord himself materialized on the deck, his massive form blotting out the stars. He towered over them, a living shadow with obsidian armor fused to his flesh, his voice a guttural growl. "You dare resist me with your bond?" Zerak thundered. His clawed hand lashed out, absorbing the energy around him. "I will drain the both of you, body and soul, and feast on your defiance." Thor stepped forward, planting his feet, Mjolnir sparking. "You may drain worlds, Reaver, but you shall find this one indigestible. For here stands not only a god, but the fire of a heart unbroken." Lyra stood at his side, her aura blazing steady at last. "And I am no longer afraid." Together they charged. Lightning and cosmic fire roared as one, crashing into Zerak with a force that shook the heavens. The impact lit up the skies above Manhattan, casting shadows across the city below as civilians looked upward, watching their defenders face the darkness head-on. For the first time, the Void Reaver staggered, and the bond of power between Thor and Lyra became Earth's greatest weapon. Triumph of the heart, 1,000 words. The night sky was torn open by lightning and fire. Manhattan burned beneath the shadow of Zerak's flagship, its obsidian bulk looming like a tombstone for Earth. The streets echoed with the screams of civilians, the clash of alien steel, and the thunder of Mjolnir. But above it all, at the heart of the chaos, stood Thor and Lyra, 2 sparks of light against the void. Zerak descended upon the ruins of Times Square, his massive frame blotting out the fire-lit skyline. His armor shimmered with void energy, tendrils of darkness curling from his gauntlets like living smoke. His voice carried across the city, amplified by the eerie hum of his warship. "You dare defy me, god of thunder? You and your fragile companion? I am the end of stars, the breaker of worlds." Thor raised Mjolnir, lightning sparking across the shattered skyscrapers. His blue eyes burned with defiance. "And I am the son of Odin. As long as my heart beats, Midgard shall not fall." Lyra stepped forward, violet energy pulsing in waves from her body. The wounds she bore from their last battle glowed with starlight, healed by the merging of her cosmic essence and Thor's storm. She met Zerak's gaze, unflinching. "You may devour planets, Void Reaver, but you will never understand love or the strength it gives us." Zerak's laugh shook the ground. "Love? Such weakness will be the last sound you utter before I tear your world apart." He lunged, his colossal blade of void metal cutting through the air like a storm of shadows. Thor met him head-on, Mjolnir colliding with the weapon in an explosion of lightning and black fire. The shockwave shattered glass for blocks in every direction. Lyra lifted her arms, sending arcs of cosmic light into the void soldiers swarming around them. They screamed as starfire burned through their shadow flesh, dissolving into ash. Yet still they came, endless as the night. Thor grunted under Zerek's power, the void blade pushing him back step by step. His armor cracked under the force. "Lyra!" he roared. She understood. Without hesitation, she ran forward, pressing her glowing hand against his back. Her energy flowed into him, merging with the storm that raged within Thor's veins. His aura exploded, lightning turning violet, the storm merging with the pulse of a living star. Together, they became more than god and alien. They became a force of nature. Thor swung Mjolnir with newfound strength, the hammer now blazing with both stormlight and cosmic fire. He struck Zerek's blade, shattering it into shards that screamed as they dissolved into nothingness. The alien warlord stumbled, his obsidian armor cracking. Zerek roared, lashing out with void tendrils that coiled around Thor and Lyra, dragging them toward him. "You cannot kill me. I am eternal." Thor's voice was a growl of thunder. "Not eternal. Only feared." Lyra's eyes blazed brighter, her entire body glowing like a living sun. "And fear dies when hearts are stronger." With one last surge, they poured everything, storm and starfire, godhood and love, into a single strike. Mjolnir glowed white-hot, wrapped in Lyra's violet aura. Thor hurled it with all his strength, guided by Lyra's power. The hammer struck Zerek square in the chest. The explosion was blinding. A column of light shot into the heavens, tearing through the warship above. The void energy that sustained Zerek screamed as it unraveled, his towering form disintegrating into shards of shadow. The flagship cracked apart, consumed in a storm of violet and blue, before collapsing into the Hudson in a fiery cascade. The night went silent. Thor staggered, his armor scorched and broken, but he still stood. Lyra fell against him, weak but alive, her glow dimming into a soft pulse. Around them, the surviving void soldiers disintegrated into ash, their masters will broken. The people of New York emerged from shelters, staring in awe at the sky. For the first time in days, stars shone again above the city. Thor looked at Lyra, brushing a hand across her cheek. "You are far from your home, little star. Yet you have saved mine." Lyra smiled faintly, her voice barely a whisper. "Love makes any world worth saving." He held her close, the thunder in his chest replaced by something gentler, something stronger. Far above, the last fragments of Zerek's flagship burned like falling stars, fading into the night. Humanity had survived, not because of gods alone, nor cosmic power, but because of the bond between hearts, defiance in the face of darkness, and the courage to fight when the night seemed endless. The age-old truth echoed once more across Midgard. It was not power alone that saved worlds. It was the heart. And on that night, Thor and Lyra proved it.